So, I was requested a long time ago about skill links on my New Game Plus speedrun of this game. So I'm going to explain what are my skill links in this video, and also what you need to do a New Game Plus speedrun. So first that's kind of obvious, but you need everyone level 99. We won't use Shala or Ricky, so we don't really care about them. However, the other 5 characters are important, so we need them level 99. So let's go. To get this level pretty quickly, just do a bunch of quests or farm high level enemies. And also using experience plus gems can help. You have also weapons for Dunban, Fiora, Rain and Melia. To get such gems, it's bonus stuff and rewarding stuff, weapons. So yeah. So I'm going to start with the equipments. So first Shulk. The equipment as itself is not useful, but the gems are. So strength up gems, it just gives more DPS, so yeah, it's cool. Hast gems with the glory gauntlet, that gives auto attacks are done way quicker, so it's pretty useful for early game because we are mainly going to use auto attacks there. So, and since it's on a unique weapon, we don't have to equip it, so we don't lose time having them, so it's cool. So the Earth Cloak. Basically, if you have seen a speedrun of this game, you know that we are going to mainly move with Shulk, and Earth Cloak allow you to avoid encounters to reduce the range of the encounter that can aggro you. So basically that's helpful to skip some fights mainly in Sword Valley and Mechonis Field. That's also useful for Galahad Fortress, and I think that's already enough to say that it's important to have it. Quick Step Gem, it just makes you go faster. So I have it equipped on Shulk because I will mainly move with Shulk, but we also have it with Dunban, Melia, because we will have some point in some time where we will move with Melia only. Same idea for Rhine. Dunban, we have it. We could basically use Melia for the part where we main with Dunban, but it saves time in terms of menus to have it on Dunban, so we use it on Dunban too. So that's about the equipment gems. Now the weapon gems. So Attack Plus just gives you higher maximum DPS, so it's obviously good. The reason why we have attack stability too is that you can't have a too big difference between minimum and maximum damage of a weapon. It's stopped at, like, I think it's 10% more than what you have, or something like that. So attack stability reduce that gap between the maximum and minimum attack, so that allow attack plus gems to be even more useful than what it should. So if you have attack plus gems, you always will have an attack stability gem. For the third gem for Shulk, it's kind of interesting. So we could use, we have multiple options, and I will explain you why first attack plus is the best. We could give like Dunban attack critical up, but look at Shulk's critical. It's already 100% sure that you will have critical, so useless. Then you could have art steals, like in Survich's video. That's completely useless because art steals would allow you to drop the aggro at some point and to be able to do other damage on other area of the boss using, for example, sit edge and back attack behind, but that's not really relevant. Basically, it takes too long to lose the aggro on a fight. And you already have Shadow Eye that allow you to drop the aggro pretty quickly and gives you a bonus in terms of damage. So it's better to use Shadow Eye anyway. Then we have back attack plus, which would be a really good idea if you want to back attack enemies. The problem is, at the beginning of the fight, it's always Shulk that has the aggro, so basically he can't do backslash behind right away, and the time it will cost you to go behind the enemy to do a backslash and kill it, it would have been faster to do a backslash in front of him and just use other arts basically. So first attack plus is the main idea of that, is that if you have first attack plus and do right away a backslash, you will get as much damage as you could, so increase damage dealt by the first attack by 150%. That's even more than a backslash from behind without this gem. So we basically at the beginning of the fight will use backslash in front of the enemy. So that have to be the first attack of Shulk, and therefore that deals a lot of damage. And the time that you will have the time that it will cost to get backslash, basically I think it's 8 or 9 seconds cooldown. The fight will already be done for any fight, even Zenza2. So that was for Shulk, followed by critical up because he doesn't have a very high critical rate, and you just want him to do DPS. Lock-on resist is for Jetface 2 because the enemies next to him can lock on. That can help you to do more damage if Dunban resists to that lock-on. Quick step already explained. Strength up is already explained too. Rain, I already explained everything. First attack plus Y and not Y critical rate, because we are mainly going to use Rain until Galahad Fortress. After that is completely useless, and basically before Galahad Fortress every enemies are one-shotted or so. So if you can just do one attack, which is hopefully Sword Drive, that will make an incredible damage output, and that should be enough. Also on the fight where we are going to main Rain, which is at after the Fallen Arm, you basically just do a sword drive directly and the enemy dies instantly, so that's one enemy out of 2 destroyed. Melia, she mainly deals damage, ether damage, so and since we are going to main her for some fights, we have to put some ether up to give her more damage, and since she's going to do electric or blaze damage or chill damage, we basically put those gems on. That's the best gems to do maximum DPS with Melia. Last character, but not least, it's Fiora. It's the third character we will use that will replace Rain on the Fallen Arm and downwards. So attack plus attack stability, that's normal. Double attack, that's thanks to her skills, every double attacks are really buffed, so who really want her to do double attack if she doesn't use art. Has 6 I already explained, kind of. That makes auto attack damage even more powerful. Strength up again. So everything is a unique equipment. So you just have to set the gems on the weapon. Also, there is I use a dystopium because that deals more damage, more medium damage. I know House Edge use another weapon, I don't remember which one, which has a slightly lower medium damage, but it's way more stable weapon, so it's good. And Sentinel drones, that gives her the best talent art she has, which is Sword Drone X. So yeah, it's the best. I think I'm done about equipment. If you want to find also yeah, about so the equipment doesn't matter, but the weapon as itself is important. So for Shulk it's obviously Modato 3, Dunban Machina Sword 2, and Rain it should be Machina Guarder 2 too. That's because you will fight mechans, so you want Machina weapons. And 3 slots always. And it's basically the best weapon that is 2 slots and that is 3 slots and deal damage to mechans, so easy choice. For Fiora I just explained, and for Melias and stuff is the best 3 slots of the game for her, so yeah. So I'm done about equipment. So now let's talk about arts. If you have watched in detail the video of my PB or well, yeah, my PB, you'd know already which arts I set it. So obviously everything is maxed, for Shulk at least. We don't really care about life heal, so I just switch it off. You can keep it on if you want. That doesn't matter because Shulk's AI won't be used. Then Burster absolutely maximum, and Cyclone because we will use Cyclone once. So if you can max it, it's better. Burster, Cyclone, easy. So for Dunban, whoops, that's what I used to have. Basically PLS, it increased strength to everyone in the party. To use auras, if you are fighting a single enemy, I won't use anything that any auras or oops, any auras or attacks that deals damage to an area of that has an area of effect. So if you make them go focus the enemy you are already fighting, they will start using those arts, and they will use auras immediately. So yeah, PLS is really important. Wolsey Slash and Soaring Tempest, we use them during the intro fights, and then it's just what deals the maximum damage output. Rain, so on my PB I had different arts for Rain. I had more actually, but those arts has a really long animation and don't do that much damage, so we just took off everything that had a long animation to keep the short animation ones, because as I said, we are not going to use Rain for the longest fights of the game, so that should be way enough until fallen arm, quick animation, and deals decent damage. Sword drive, dives about melee. About Fiora, the same idea. I took off speed shifting because we don't use that much auto attacks, and it has a long animation. No shutdown either, because that's a long animation attack, and that's enough out. And finally for Melia, Summon Bolt and Flare, that should be good enough with copy. Maybe Ice for the last Alessia fight. The other ads doesn't really matter because we're only going to main Melia, don't use the AI. That's pretty much done with the arts. So let's go on the skill trees, which is the main point of the video. So first, I have I have all the skills for everyone. Don't miss the hidden trees that are essential traits, which gives really good skills. Also, the choice of the trait is pretty important because it has a passive that gives you bonuses. So for sure, critical hit rate up. The Monado 3 gives you 90% critical. With this, you have some 100%. So that's why we will choose it. And also, he doesn't have strength up trait, so that's the base trait you can have. Enthusiasm for Dunban, increased strength, daring, increased strength, increase ether. Remember, Melia does ether damage, not physical damage. Shala and Ruki, we don't really care. So skill links. As you can see, the affinity is pretty. I have a really good affinity with everyone, except for Melia maybe. But I'm not using every art, and some of them are not that. Some skills I set it are not really that important. Also notice the affinity coins and on the left corner. It's not that huge, only 300 points. You can get them improved if you level up, if you fight unique monster for the first time. So I highly recommend doing that if you want more affinity coins. So about the skills, the most important ones are increased movement speed from Ricky and Melia and Fiora. That gives with the quick gem that I talked about earlier in the equipment, it gives the highest movement possible, which is something like 34% more than the normal, so it's really a lot. So we have that set it for Shulk, Dunban. It's here, so yeah, Dunban X Ricky is the really important thing, as well as with Fiora. She should have it too. We don't really care though. Oh well. For rain too, increase movement, and here, and for Melia, here. So that's the most important thing. Then the next thing we want is to increase DPS of everyone, because that's really the last thing left. So if you see us set time tonight, it's because of this skill, plus 15% strength at night, And there is another one, I think it's Melia. Yeah, Power of the Moon. So that gives a really huge buff. Riki has the same buff at daytime, but it's less important, and I don't think Melia has this one on daytime, so you really want nighttime. So that said, I'm watching a bit, nothing really important here. Oh yeah, Invincible Hero. If you have max HP, then you deal more damage. That's pretty obvious. And since you are not going to take that much damage in New Game Plus, actually nothing, that will always be here. That we don't care. Battle character, that's a really important art. Weapon damage plus 10%. So that gives a pretty important buff. High level enemy. I don't know if Zanza at the end is considered as higher level than you. So I just said that. I don't think it really matter anyway. Chances of double attack, that's not that useful, but okay. So Ether will also have some skill for Shulk for Ether, because he will use Cyclone, and Cyclone is an Ether art. So increase Ether, here too, and Ether buff at start of the battle. Also, the fight I'm talking about where we use Cyclone is the Lorithia fight and Bionis Core. The enemies there are weak to Ether, so we want to use Ether, not physical attacks. Yeah. That's the same idea. Ether Assault. That could be useful, but pretty sure it won't really matter. Again, Ether. Opening Blow, really important skill, because that gives first attack plus damage. So again, since we are mainly going to do the damage is on the first attack, this one is important. Again, strength up, pretty obvious. Increase damage of critical hits. Since Shulk will always do critical hits, this skill is really important once again. We should see pretty much the same ideas with every other character. Zenban doesn't have really useful Ether arts, so we don't have Ether stuff. However, we will see every physical stuff we can. Increase resistance strength, increase the resistance to all debuff. That can be useful. I don't think it's even useful. Damage dealt by Ether arts. He still has an Ether art, so if you still has some coins left, you can set that. Wait. Could set that too. That can be very interesting. Maybe not in New Game Plus because you won't have visions, but Talon Gouge max after vision makes Zenban doing a really huge damage output because his talent art is pretty awesome. Chain attack damage. On Zanza 2 I used to use chain attack, so that would be useful. I don't know if it was working it now. Chance of double attack, that's always useful. Strength attack buff, again same idea. Attack power, Ether. So strength during night again. I'm going to explain the art I just skipped. This one, Telethia Killer. When an aura is active, increases damage dealt to Telesia. Since Dunban has an aura that is really important, which is peerless, he will deal even more damage to Telesia, and since endgame is fighting Telesia, that's really useful. For Fiora, you can't have stars with Fiora, so some of the arts we use for Dunban or Shulk are not here, but you still have the same idea every time. With her, I don't think she has ether attacks, but hey, whatever. I still have a lot of guns. Well, considering how much ether skills I have, that should be... she should have some. Nice effects from behind. She has an art that deals damage from behind, that's why. Once again, same idea. The effects of spike damage. I did not talk about that. The dragon fight at the end of Prison Island, before the fight, the very last fight, which is Dixon. This guy deals spike damage, so reducing it can be useful considering how many attacks Fiora does. Chances of counter attack, that can be interesting. Increased movement speed, I don't know why I've stats set it. I think it's just that there is nothing important. Presque. Rain. Resistance to debuff. Extends the duration of auras, since he doesn't have any more auras. That's not useful anymore. Boost defense. I don't know why I've that set it, but hey. Trying to find another skill link that I did not explain before. That's not useful anymore either. Increase damage of critical hits, yeah, can be useful. Once again, since we have first attack plus gem, why not putting this on? And movement speed. Melia, again, it should only be ether stuff. What? Why do I have that set up? Oh, that's for minor anyway. Yeah, if Melia has her Talon Gutch maxed, she deals more damage with all her ether arts, so it can be useful. But again, 2% chance to happen, so it's just RNG. So, that's all.
Papa, tu dois appeler.
Goodbye.